Hello and welcome to Stress Less with me, Jess. Today, my special guest is Lori Alizon
Aloisio.
Aloisio. I'm so sorry. I was trying to say it correctly and then I got too much in my head. You are a holistic weight loss coach. So I'm so excited to have you on here. I've been checking out your Instagram. I've been checking out some of your YouTube videos. And I just love the name and titles that you have. I think they're so capturing. And you use such words that go, I'm like, oh, I want that. I want that. So can you explain to the listeners a little bit about what you do?
Yes, so basically, like the way it all started is that I became a registered nurse, and somehow I ended up with a lot of like weight loss patients, and I had to work with a lot of like obese patients at the time. And I also was really like interested in nutrition and all of that. But then I really noticed that we are missing the point here. Like that they like usually in the healthcare industry, we're just like taking care of the symptoms, but not of the real like reason. And then when I really tried to dig a little bit deeper, like with my patients and so on, then I was not allowed to do that. So then I just started my own, I quit my job after a few years. I started my own business. And so now what I do is that I really help women that have struggled for many, many years to lose weight, and like, or where the weight all the time comes back and they think that they're just doomed to have like the excess weight and so on. And so, yeah, I help those women now to actually lose the weight and keep it off as well.
Oh, I love the background story. I think that's so important too, because you saw a problem that you couldn't solve in the career that you were in. And you're going, well, I know I can do this. So goodbye. I'm going to go do it now.
Yes, it kind of drove me a little bit crazy. So I started my blog, and I even blogged like doing work because I needed this outlet. I was not like able to talk to my patients directly. So then I just created my blog, and then everything just kind of start to happen like magically. I kind of noticed that, oh, there's a health coaching industry. Oh, maybe I could do this. That's actually what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, but I'm not allowed to. So then I moved my work online, and I also moved to Brazil at the time. So everything kind of happened at once.
Oh, wow. You're just like, we're just going to do it all right now. Here we
Yeah,
go. Oh, so fun. So you
exactly.
start with the blog. Again, it's so awesome to have something that's an outlet for you, because I think that's a lot of what we do now. We get stuck in really hating our job because we're not seeing the outcomes that we want. And so sometimes we just fester it. You said to yourself, I'm going to do something, even if it's just blog, and I'm air quoting, just blogging, but I'm doing something. I'm providing some type of resource for people, but I'm also releasing some of my stress that I can't support my patients with. So I just really, really love that.
Yes.
On one of, I saw on one of your videos, and I feel like it's also a quote unquote trend right now, is a alternative for coffee. And I'm only bringing this up because, especially with gut issues, especially with bloating, but for a lot of us don't want to give up our coffee. Could you enlighten us around alternatives for coffee?
Yeah, so I think the video you saw was probably like Raja's cup, the Ayurvedic kind of a coffee blend. I think it's from is it from a tree or something? Yeah, but it has no caffeine, but it kind of tastes a little bit similar to coffee. It kind of has the same color, and it also kind of gives this energy boost or like this feeling of well-being and so on, but like without all of the harmful, let's say, side effects. So that's something I definitely recommend. And I think nowadays in most countries, probably in some like Asian stores or like that, or even online. If you come on, we have the internet now, so online you can order everything. So it's like, yeah, it's a Raja's cup, and it's an Ayurvedic coffee alternative. But something that I do myself, that I drink quite a lot, is also green tea. I mean, it has a little bit of caffeine in it, but or like just like jasmine tea. Yeah, jasmine, which is kind of like more white or long and so on. So just I'm a big tea fan. So I have a tea for everything, like an evening tea, an afternoon tea, a morning tea, and yeah, I love teas. Yeah.
We'll have to chat afterwards, because I love tea, and it's definitely, I never was a huge coffee drinker, but I just love my morning cup. But I have noticed a difference, especially in the gut, when I went from coffee to tea. So I think that's awesome. When you're
And
working
hot
with,
chocolate too. I'm sorry
oh,
to interrupt, but I
no,
forgot
go.
about hot chocolate, because many people think that hot chocolate, like usually it's more like for the evening, but if you have like this really pure, let's say ceremonial, really high graded like cacao, and you really just make hot water over like cacao and like that, that's really energizing. So I don't like when I have my hot cacao, like hot chocolate, basically more like kind of more like, yeah, intense like cacao ceremony, let's say. I have it in the morning or like early afternoon, because it really energizes you, like 100% pure cacao. I
Can I
definitely
still
recommend
add
to.
whipped cream to it?
Yep. But if you use like the 100%, really like the ceremonial quality cacao, it's energizing as well.
Oh, you know what I love about what you just said? So ignore my first question because you got me on something else. What I love what you just said though, too, with the hot chocolate and the teas and things like that. What I'm hearing is that you're not really depriving women when you're saying, okay, I'm going to take things out, right? You're finding different alternative replacements that still make sense, that still go, okay, I'm still going to give you that sweetness taste. I'm still going to give you that energy. I'm still going to give you these things that you're craving, but in a different alternative. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. And the way that I do my work is that I want the women to come up with their own solution, like to really become more in tune with themselves and listen to their own body and their intuition as well. Because, you know, nowadays marketing, advertisement, so on, it kind of wants to convince us to buy a certain product. So I try to remove all of that and then just get women more in tune with themselves. And like then they crave the hot chocolate naturally, especially like during their menstrual cycle and like that. And there's many reasons for that because it's rich in iron, and so our body knows best. And that's basically like what my work really like evolves around. It's like that we need to start to listen more to our body, really get those messages, and yeah, also connect with our intuition more.
It's so true what you're saying too, because, and tell me if you agree, everybody's different. So what works for you may not work for me. What your body likes and what my body like may be two different things. And so when you mentioned that social media and the trends and, you know, what everyone's buying right now and things like that, that might work for that person and that's okay, but it doesn't mean it's always going to work for you.
Exactly. And it's the same with workouts too. Like there's so many, I think at some point CrossFit was trendy. Then it's this high intensity interval training and like some point yoga, Pilates, whatever, hot something like hot yoga. And like, like there's always something, or cold something as well. Like there's cold showers after this. You need to do a hot shower, hot bath, then a cold shower here. Like, no, like that's always like very like trendy and so on. But again, it's about listening to your own self and your own body. And in that way, I also work a lot actually with our monthly cycle because during our different phases, like we have different cravings and we also have different needs. For example, like during our ovulatory phase, we feel much more energized. We feel like we can conquer the world. We also feel much more social. So that's the time to really go to those group Pilates classes or some other group class to socialize and just have fun, hang out with people. But then like during our like follicular phase, like just like we just feel like our energy is a little bit like more down and so on. Or before our like menstrual phase, we want to stay at home. We want to stay at home. We just want to do maybe some yin yoga or maybe just even take a nap, and that's okay too. So we really need to listen to our body and actually track our cycle to understand like in what phase we are in, and because we are all the time different. We change. We function like on this monthly cycle, so we really need to take this into consideration. And then we also stress less. Then we stress less because when we are like pushing our own like boundaries and we're trying to be the same every single day, it's not working. And then we are stressed, then we're out of alignment, and then we also accumulate the excess weight because it is a symptom of being out of balance, out of alignment, and just not listening to our body and trying to, I don't know, go and have this CrossFit workout when we are like on our menstrual phase. Like it's harming our body in that way, and it does not feel right as well. And it's just creating chaos inside of us.
Chaos. Yes. Chaos 101, because we're not listening to our bodies. And what you also mentioned that's so important is that we're going through changes every day, right? Every week, every day, we're going through different changes. And so your body's going with that. So what worked on Monday might not work on Friday. And so when you listen to your body, you're able to recognize that. What do you feel is a key way to start listening to your body?
Just be in the present moment more. I think that is something we are so missing nowadays. Like we all the time, let's say on our phones and we're watching something, we all the time need to be distracted. And most people, I think nowadays, they cannot sit still on the couch just looking at the white wall for 5 minutes or just closing their eyes and just being like inside of themselves like for 5 minutes. This, you know, you kind of get this like nervous itchy feeling, like it's kind of tingling in the toes and your fingers, and it's just, but that is something that yeah, we need to learn again to just be able to be present, sit down quietly, just 5 minutes. The world is not going to collapse if you're just sitting there 5 minutes in stillness. So yeah, and that's a great step already, to just start to listen more, because our body's all the time communicating. We're missing it because we're so distracted doing all the time those different things.
I love it. What are some different ways that a woman can work with you?
Oh, well, basically I have some courses on weight loss, and they're kind of also like in different, like I talk about different topics there. Like I have one course that is like the break free and release course, which is all about like getting rid of your limiting beliefs, like reprogramming your mind, and also finding out the real reason behind your excess weight. And sometimes this is some like big traumatic event, but sometimes it's also something small and repetitive. For example, the women in your family all the time told you that the women in our family are always overweight. So it's just something similar, like small, that all the time kind of repeated in your life, and then you just start to believe it. And so yeah, it's really, it's individual. It depends on the person, but that's like the first course I always recommend people to just to find out like what is the real reason, and then remove it. Because when there's no reason anymore, your body's going to lose the weight, because our body is so perfectly engineered that it does that. When there's no need anymore, it's just you lose the weight. And then like another course I have is about like loving yourself. It's called the Love Yourself Now course. Because like you should never lose weight because you hate yourself or your body. You should lose weight because you love yourself and your body. Like you all the time need to come from a place of love. I don't know if you know law of attraction. You know you cannot manifest anything negative out of anything positive out of negativity. And then another course that I also have is like being your true authentic self. It's like living a life with purpose and passion, and it's called Let Your Light Shine. Because I think that has also a lot to do with like being stressed. We are trying to be somebody we are not. And many women are also like hiding behind the excess weight. And yeah, that's a big issue now, that we wear all of those masks and we are hiding behind the excess weight. We are afraid to be our true authentic selves. And yeah, so that's what I have from courses. And of course, I also work one-on-one with people, like private coaching.
I love that. And Lori, what is the best way for someone to contact you?
Well, you can just go to my website, like healthyandfeellife.com, or just on Instagram, it's my name, Lori Aloisio.
And for listeners, all her information will be repeated in the show notes or wherever you're getting the podcast episode from, on the website, and the email, everything will be repeated for you. What is the one thing you want the listeners to take away from today's episode?
That like if they want to lose weight, they really want to lose weight, and they feel that they're not the true authentic self with the excess weight, then they can do it. Like no matter how many times they've tried already, no matter how many times the weight came back, like it's all about finding out the real reason behind it and releasing this reason, and then the weight's gonna come off. And like they also need to be their true authentic self, and they need to come from a place of love, and then it's a recipe for success, that one. Like that just works. So nobody is doomed to have like excess weight if they feel that they want to lose it. Like some women, of course, like they don't need to lose that weight. They feel like this is me, this is myself. Like I have a few extra pounds, but I just love myself. I feel aligned. I feel good. You don't need to lose weight, and of course not. But I'm working with women that feel like they're out of alignment, and there's just something in the way of them being their true selves. So if that's you, you can do it for sure.
Oh, I love that. Lori, before I let you go, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'm so excited. I was just telling another guest, I need like a music intro to play and then go, all right, and welcome to the lightning round. Lori, so you said you moved to Brazil, right? What other country have you moved to, or do you want to move to?
Oh, many, like not many. Well, I'm originally from Luxembourg. I'm again living in Luxembourg, but I also lived 8 years in Finland, and then for almost 5 years in Brazil.
Wow. Is there any other country you want to visit?
To move to, like just visit, like maybe I'm thinking about like maybe like Bali or something like that. That would be like at least for like a few months, maybe. Yeah. Nowadays, I'm also thinking about like Dubai, like more like those that are kind of trendy nowadays, because Europe is a little bit like if you see the news, it's a little bit on fire, literally. So yeah, it's always good to have a small way out in case it's needed.
When I think about you moving, I think about strength. Is it scary to move to different cities and things like that you've never been to?
No, for me it's not. For me it's just like it's a feeling. Like if I know like I want to move there, it just feels right. Like I'm really good with listening to my intuition nowadays. So when I have this internal nudge, like this feels right, this feels aligned, I just do it. And it's always working out. Like there's also like law of attraction, and like the universe is always supporting you. So yeah. You need to be brave. You really need to take the leap, and it's all falling into place. It does not make sense oftentimes. So we can never like really imagine how it's going to go, or really try to plan everything like each detail, because it never will work like that. But you have to leave like some space for the magic to happen as well.
When I'm listening to you talk earlier, you kept saying things like retry again, or maybe that one didn't work. You never use the word failure, and I love that. Do you believe in failure?
No, no, this is, I mean, failure is when you give up, like, but come on, like we're not dying soon. Like we can recreate ourselves every single day. Like we have so many opportunities each day. And yeah, like I said, we need to leave room for magic as well. And yeah, we're all the time guided like by our intuition. So I really truly believe in that like we have this internal GPS, and when we follow that, there's no failure.
What is one daily habit that you always have to do every day? It's a must. There's no negotiations.
Probably drinking tea. Like, I mean, like something random. I mean, obviously there are those normal things like everybody does, but I love tea. I cannot sleep like in the evening. Of course, it's a limiting belief as well, but it kind of puts me off when I don't have my evening tea before I go to bed. Like that is something that I've done since I'm like a very young child. Like my mother always gave me tea in the evening. So now I'm like 32 and I'm still drinking tea in the evening because I love it.
I love
Helps
tea
me.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best time. Just like that warm cup in your hand. It's just so soothing. What is one way that you do to relieve your stress?
Mm. I think I just love to sit in stillness. I think that's also something like I said, most people don't do, but I really love to become the observer and to just really be pure awareness, to kind of like distance myself from like what's going on, kind of like the world, our reality we are currently in, to just like, yeah, to distance myself and just become like this pure consciousness, like just this pure observer, and just sit there and observe everything. Like it's kind of like a movie that's playing in front of my eyes. So I love that.
Oh, I love that. One more question. This is kind of more for the listeners, but we talked a lot about sitting in stillness and, no cell phone, no TV, outside on the couch, wherever it may be. What is your one advice to get somebody started to sitting in stillness?
Have good music. Have good music. I think nowadays we're so blessed with like YouTube and Spotify, and if you like, I know being just in stillness can be really weird, but just put on some music. Like there is some meditation music, and I think I really like, is it Barry or Gary Goldstein or something like, or Bernstein, something like that. No, Goldstein is another one.
Gabby
I think
Bernstein?
Gabby. No, it's different. It's like I think it's not. It's like Goldstein. This one is like Goldstein, like
Okay.
Barry Goldstein. He has like very great music on Spotify. I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Dispenza. It's like kind of what Joe Dispenza uses in the background of his meditations. So this one is really like, this just gets you. Like this just really gets you. You sit there in stillness, present. Like it helps. Like good music helps. So meditation music or whatever music you like. Yeah.
I love that so much. Lori, I'm so grateful you came on and made time for me today. I just want to say thank you for, coming out and just tell us everything that you do. I really appreciate what you do.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.